Hey traders, quick market update. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, let's get straight into a quick market update. So yesterday we saw a blast to the high side. So this market is moving up right now on the daily chart. We're going to focus on the daily chart here for a minute. And what I do see here, guys, is that the market is extending to the high side. And this market's rallying to the high side. Like last night, the Dow was up 1.226. Same with the S&P, up over 1.25%. As well too, blasting up as well too, and up you see the NASDAQ actually pulling up, which was expected on the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ actually already had from high to low almost a 6% drop, and the Russell's actually pulling up. Now, one thing I want to point this out to you guys here, okay? I want to point something out to you here for a minute. Looking at these markets and looking at what's actually happening here, let me actually show you what I see here. Firstly, if I squeeze this up and I bring up, say, the weekly chart. If I bring up the weekly chart, we notice that the market's had a lot of issues around where we are right now. And the markets actually continue to run to the high side. And the markets continue to run up and run up and run up. And this is where a lot of people are really starting to turn more bullish than bearish. I'm starting to see it on the streets. And to me, I don't see that. I actually think we're coming for a significant move on the downside. Real soon. And that's exactly what I see on the market. So what I'm seeing here, guys, is this, and I'm seeing that the market's rolling up, but we're still at this overall area of major rejection where we are right now. That's around the, what's that, 17,900 up to the 18,000 level is a major rejection area on the Dow Jones. Now, if I bring up this one here, I believe, now I could be wrong here, guys, I could be wrong, but I believe the market's likely to stop here. It's likely to stop here. I don't believe we're likely just to run up and continue run up and break up new highs. I don't believe that. I believe we may get a little bit more upside, maybe into the 18,000 mark, maybe a little bit higher. Then we're likely to pause, and I think we're likely to start forming what I believe is going to be a head and shoulder formation on the actual charts. So you can see here that I've just brought up some more trend lines, and you can see here that this high point up the top here, and I've got a couple of trend lines coming down through here, and that's just connecting the high points and the high point through there. We can actually get to that point through there where the market's rejected. But on top of that, guys, we can actually see that this market's already had like this point through here, and we can see that the market's actually had a point through here. And you also can see that the market's already had a point through there as well too. So I believe, guys, that this might be forming a head and shoulder formation, and then we see, I believe a significant downward movement. Now, I believe this week is likely to be not much more. I don't believe we're going to break new highs above 18,100. I believe we're likely to start forming a right shoulder here, and then a significant movement on the downside is likely to come. Now, the interesting thing about this is this, guys, is that if you look at the last day, they try to have a big rally out of the markets, and people thought that this was starting to have. You can see this day here. Look at the volume on this day here. The market ran up, hit these areas of resistance. Look at the volume on that day. Very, very small. Look at today's volume. I would have expected to see a lot more volume out of that, right? If you're looking at the volume, I would have expected to see a lot more volume in today's bar, especially having such a 1.2% movement to the high side. So that's basically what I see there on the Dow Jones. The market's actually rallying up through here, and yeah, and I actually see that it's not actually. It doesn't look like it's trying to. It's sustainable to the high side, because I believe we're likely to get exhausted through here. Moving through to the S&P, same thing. I've drawn a couple of trend lines from this peak up the top here, and I can see there's a lot of trend lines coming into play right now. Plus this move up, I believe once again, if I bring up my trend line tools, I can see, guys, that this market looks like it's forming a head and shoulder formation, and then down we go. So we may get a little bit more upside through here, but I don't think there's going to be too much, and then I think we're going to rally over. And I think this whole week, the rest of this week here is likely to be forming the shoulder, and then I think next week we start to see some significant movement. I still have a low point down here by the end of this month. That's where I believe we're likely to end up. Am I wrong? We'll see. But that's what I absolutely believe. Now, I believe that because I'm looking at the other charts as well too. Let's actually look at the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ's actually rallying up through here. NASDAQ actually had a decent volume spark as well too. Or a decent... Oh, this market's... My software doing that. So I can see that the NASDAQ actually had a lot more volume in today's bar as well too. And this is starting to rally up. I'm actually happy with that as well too, because it's getting ready for another stair step on the downside on the NASDAQ. So I'm actually okay with that. I actually think we're likely to rally up, maybe in a little bit more to the high side, and then roll over and then start heading down on the NASDAQ. And that's basically what I see there moving forward. Plus also on the Russell. The Russell, guys, even though the Russell made almost a 1% up move on the downside, on the upside, it's not strong. And plus it's also what's actually happening here is if I open this up, you can see that this market was continuing to bounce off this trend line. Bounce, 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 and then broke through. What do you expect is likely to happen here? I believe we're likely to get a bit of resistance. And again, creating this overall head and shoulder formation, and then down we go, moving into next week. So, oh, excuse me. Wow. So anyway, guys, that's basically what I see there. That's basically what I see happening on the Russell. I also do see, guys, just quick update on silver. I think 1 or 2 more days and I'm getting ready to get into SLV myself, as in like bullish. And also the GLD as well too. GLD looks like it's trying to hold this support here. Oh, my software's gone bunging on me. How about that? There we go. So there's a lot of support, a lot of resistance, come back down. It's now forming this support. This may, guys, by looking at this here, there's my software again. See that software? My software, I tell you, is number one. Not. Let me actually see if I can create a parallel trend line. Ah, there we go. Cool. So we can see that this actually may even just be, guys, a bull flag. It looks like that's actually what it's trying to form, bull flag, and then maybe a rally out to the high side. We did get a little bit more volume than yesterday's bar as well too. So overall, guys, I expect a lot more upside. Looking at let me see if I can bring up this weekly chart. So weekly chart, we can actually see that this the market's had a nice pullback on this down here. Found nice support. I believe we're likely to start rallying out, and maybe even starting to rally a lot harder out of the market. So there we go, guys. That's what I expect. That's what I see. Let's see what happens with the markets overall. But guys, overall with the markets, I do see that this, especially the Dow Jones. Let's go to the Dow Jones quickly. There we go, Dow Jones. I believe we're likely the Dow Jones, guys. We're likely to form a head and shoulder, like a shoulder formation here. There's no volume supporting this. We're still way too high on the upside, and I believe this is just getting ready to start holding through here, and then we're likely to start rolling over to start getting a lot more downside to come in the markets. Now this week, guys, I don't believe we're likely to see a big significant movement on the downside this week. I just believe that this week is forming another right shoulder on the daily chart. On the daily chart, I believe we're likely to be forming a right shoulder on this daily chart, and then we roll over. That's just my opinion, guys. I don't know what's going to happen, but I tell you what, I'm not on the sidelines. I'm not saying we'll see what happens. I believe, and I'm positioning myself to go from the downside. That's exactly what I believe, and that's exactly where my money is. Let's see what happens. Hey, it's John Howell here, and thanks so much for watching my video. You see, I'm putting out daily videos and education on helping you learning the art of successful trading. So click on the subscribe button to keep up to date with every video I do. Also, check out my story video, $250,000 in debt, cancer, overweight, family passing away, lived on the streets, and more, and how I overcome it and now thriving through my life. This is here to motivate you, so click on that image to watch my video. And lastly, if you're struggling with your trading, then you need to see my latest webinar where I'm sharing with you an amazing strategy that allows you to generate an income without getting the direction right. So click on that image on this page to register for my next free webinar. This is John Howell here. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.